Imagine for a moment, what if the power to unlock your deepest potential wasn't something you had to learn, but something already lying dormant inside you? What if there was an ancient energy buried beneath layers of time and culture, waiting for the right moment to awaken? This energy is not a myth. It's not a legend whispered around campfires. It's real, it's tangible, and it's called Kundalini. For thousands of years, Kundalini has been revered, yet also feared by those who truly understood it. Its power has been hidden, its knowledge restricted, and its awakening guarded by those who knew that to awaken it was to risk everything. But why? Why was Kundalini kept secret? Why is it considered so dangerous? And why did ancient civilizations go to great lengths to suppress its knowledge? You might wonder, how could something so powerful, so transformative, also be so dangerous? Isn't spiritual growth supposed to be about enlightenment and peace? But Kundalini is no ordinary spiritual energy. It's described as a serpent coiled at the base of your spine, waiting for the moment when it will rise through your body, unlocking hidden powers that connect you to higher states of consciousness. It's not just a gentle flow of energy, it's a force that, once awakened, changes everything about who you are, how you think, and how you see the world. The truth is, Kundalini's power is as dangerous as it is profound. While it has the potential to bring spiritual awakening, it can also bring physical chaos, and psychological breakdowns, or even spiritual destruction for those unprepared. It can tear down everything you know about yourself, leaving only the raw energy of your soul exposed. Why would something so transformative be kept hidden for so long? Why have ancient Egypt, India, and other powerful civilizations guarded the secrets of Kundalini? What were they trying to protect? And who were they trying to protect it from? In ancient Egypt, knowledge of energy manipulation was carefully reserved for the priests, those who had undergone rigorous rituals and training. They understood that accessing this hidden force was not just a spiritual path. It was a pathway that could reshape reality itself. In India, the yogis who mastered Kundalini practices knew that once this energy is awakened, it could lead to deep enlightenment, but it could also overwhelm the individual, leading to madness or even death. They didn't want it available to just anyone. The danger of awakening Kundalini too early or without the right preparation was real. You might be asking, why now? Why is this ancient knowledge resurfacing today? It's because the world is waking up. More people are beginning to understand that we have the power to unlock potential within ourselves. Energy that's been dormant for centuries, perhaps even lifetimes. But with this knowledge comes a question we can't ignore. Are we ready for this power? Can humanity control such energy? Or are we heading into dangerous territory by unearthing something so primal and untamable? The more we dive into the stories of ancient civilizations, the more we realize that Kundalini wasn't just an energy of the body, it was a tool, a spiritual weapon, a hidden key to the universe that was meant to be carefully protected and only revealed to those who could wield it responsibly. And yet, throughout history, this knowledge has been suppressed, misunderstood, and even lost. The question is, why did they fear it so much? What would happen if everyone knew how to awaken Kundalini? Could humanity rise to new heights of consciousness? Or would it collapse under the weight of a power it wasn't prepared to handle? Imagine what it would feel like to awaken this force within you. The power to tap into a source of pure energy, to see beyond the ordinary, to understand the universe in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. But along with that power comes the responsibility to master it. If you can't control the serpent, it will control you. And that's where the danger lies. Kundalini isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a force of nature, as powerful as the earth itself, and it doesn't take much to trigger it. One wrong step, one rushed practice, and the consequences could be life-changing or even catastrophic. As we continue, we'll dive deeper into the secrets of Kundalini, the warnings of ancient texts, and the true potential that lies dormant within us all. We'll explore why this energy was so mysterious, why it was treated with such fear and reverence, and why it's both a blessing and a curse. But before we go further, let's ask ourselves one more question. Is Kundalini a gift we're finally ready to receive? Or is it a power we should leave untouched? Kundalini, a word that strikes fear and fascination in equal measure. But what is it? If you've heard of it before, you might have heard it described as a mystical force, a secret energy, or even a serpent coiled at the base of your spine. But what does it really mean? Is it some kind of ancient myth or spiritual fantasy? Or is it a real power hidden in the depths of human consciousness? Let's start by breaking it down. At its core, Kundalini is described as an untapped energy, a primal force that lies dormant in every one of us. It is said to rest at the base of the spine, coiled like a serpent, waiting for the right moment to awaken. When it rises, it moves through your body's chakras or energy centers, traveling up the spine until it reaches the crown of your head, opening you to higher states of awareness and spiritual enlightenment. But this isn't some gentle wave of energy. No, this is a force of nature, as powerful and ancient as the earth itself. Kundalini is not just a mystical energy, it's a life-changing force that has the potential to completely transform your physical, mental, and spiritual state. Imagine it like this. You have a dormant volcano inside you, untapped, dangerous, and full of energy. When this force awakens, it can reshape your entire existence. It can give you the clarity to see things beyond the ordinary, to connect with higher realms, but it can also overwhelm you if you're not prepared. This energy, once awakened, doesn't just flow freely, it pushes through your physical being, awakening each chakra, each energy center as it travels up your spine. Your entire body becomes a conduit for this force. And while it can lead you to enlightenment, it's important to remember awakening Kundalini is not something to take lightly. Ancient texts from the Upanishads to the Tantras speak of Kundalini awakening as the key to enlightenment, a state where ordinary human limitations are transcended and a person connects with a higher consciousness. But these texts don't just glorify Kundalini's power, they warn against its awakening without proper guidance and preparation. Kundalini isn't just a power, it's a force that can transform you, but not always in the way you expect. The experience of awakening Kundalini is intense. It can bring clarity and peace, but it can also bring chaos. People who've awakened this force without proper guidance often report feeling overwhelmed, sometimes even physically ill, as if their entire reality was turned upside down. Some even claim to experience psychic phenomena, out-of-body experiences, or uncontrollable emotions. Why is that? Why is something so transformative also so dangerous? You see, Kundalini is not just about spiritual growth. It's about balance, balancing energy, emotions, and mind. Awakening this energy too quickly or without the right preparation can throw you off balance, leaving you feeling lost, confused, and vulnerable. So why then do so many ancient civilizations like India, Egypt, and Mesopotamia keep the knowledge of Kundalini hidden or restricted to only a select few? Why in spiritual traditions was Kundalini considered something sacred, something dangerous, and something worthy of secrecy? Could it be that the knowledge of this power was kept hidden for a reason? Was it really just about control, as some might say? Or was there a deeper truth to why only the chosen few were allowed to awaken it? Ancient India, for example, revered the power of Kundalini, but they also understood its intensity. The yogis and gurus who passed down this knowledge taught that the awakening of Kundalini could connect you to the divine, but it could also destroy the unprepared. That's why it was kept under tight control. It wasn't just a force you could casually awaken. It was sacred, secret, and meant for those who had prepared their minds and bodies over years of practice. In ancient Egypt, there are whispers of a similar energy manipulation, though it's not explicitly named as Kundalini. The priests of Egypt knew how to harness energies for building great structures, for achieving spiritual connection, and for controlling the elements. Could they have understood Kundalini before it was even named? Was the ancient knowledge of energy manipulation part of the hidden wisdom they passed down through secretive rituals? And what about Mesopotamia in their mythologies of gods and goddesses? Many of their ancient stories revolve around the power of transformation, something that feels very much like Kundalini. Whether it was the Yas giving power to humans, or humans awakening to something far greater than themselves, the idea of an awakening force was central to many cultures. But why, despite all of this, do we find so little mention of Kundalini in modern society? Why, after thousands of years of reverence and mystery, has it remained such a taboo subject? Is it simply because it was meant to be hidden? Or was there something in the past that made Kundalini too dangerous to share with the masses? As we continue to uncover the mystery behind this ancient energy, we'll begin to see that the story of Kundalini is not just one of spiritual awakening. It's one of unseen power, control, and danger. But the most pressing question remains: if Kundalini has been so carefully hidden for centuries, what would happen if the world started to awaken it? Imagine walking into a grand, ancient temple. You feel the weight of centuries of knowledge pressing down on you. The air is thick with the scent of incense, and the walls are lined with intricate carvings, but none of them speak directly to you. They're all symbols, codes, and mysteries. Some things were meant to be understood only by the initiated. Kundalini, the hidden energy at the base of your spine, was one of those mysteries. In ancient civilizations like Egypt and India, the knowledge of this divine force was kept secret. Why? Why did these cultures, known for their wisdom and spiritual insight, choose to hide the power of Kundalini? What was so dangerous about it that they didn't want just anyone to awaken it? Let's look back at ancient Egypt. The priests of Egypt were the gatekeepers of sacred knowledge. They understood the power of energy, the flow of life, the balance between the physical and the spiritual realms. These priests didn't just serve as intermediaries between the Ha's and the people. They were also spiritual scientists. They understood that energy work was a powerful force, one that could shift realities and shape lives. But that knowledge wasn't meant for the public. It was reserved for only the initiated few, those who had undergone rigorous training and rituals. Why? Because Kundalini is not just about awakening energy. It's about awakening a force so powerful that it can literally transform your life. It could elevate you to higher states of consciousness, or it could completely unravel you from the inside out. Kundalini energy wasn't something you could just unleash at will. It had to be carefully controlled, guided, and understood. The priests of Egypt knew this. They understood the balance between light and darkness, creation and destruction, and Kundalini was a force that could tip that balance. So they kept it hidden. They passed down the knowledge in secret, from one priest to the next, preserving the wisdom for those they deemed worthy. It was a power that could lead to enlightenment or chaos, depending on how it was handled. It wasn't just about control, it was about responsibility. Kundalini could open the gates of heaven, but it could also unleash the fury of hell if left unchecked. Similarly, in ancient India, Kundalini was treated with the same level of reverence and caution. The practice of awakening this energy was passed down through secretive lineages of gurus. Only the chosen few were allowed to awaken it. It wasn't something you could just learn from a book or an open teaching. You had to prove you were ready for it, both spiritually and physically. The yogis and gurus knew that if the energy was awakened prematurely or by someone unprepared, it could lead to mental turmoil, physical illness, or even spiritual destruction. But why such secrecy? Why was Kundalini hidden from the masses? It wasn't just about control, it was about protection. These ancient civilizations knew that awakening Kundalini was not something to be taken lightly. It was the ultimate spiritual initiation, but it was also an experience that could shatter your reality. The fear wasn't that Kundalini would make people stronger or more connected to the divine. It was that the energy was so unpredictable that it could cause instability in those who weren't prepared for it. People who weren't spiritually equipped could lose themselves in the overwhelming force of it, unable to cope with the intense surge of energy. And then we have to ask, what did the ancient rulers know about Kundalini that we don't? What secrets did they keep hidden from the general population? Was it really just about controlling the power? Or was it about protecting the masses from a force they weren't ready to understand? Kundalini wasn't just a mystical concept, it was a tool, a force, capable of altering the course of a person's life. Could the ancient rulers have feared that too many people awakening this energy would cause mass upheaval? Were they trying to prevent chaos, to ensure the energy stayed in the hands of those who could handle it? But here's the question that lingers. Is Kundalini too dangerous for the masses? Is it something that should remain hidden? Or is it a power that we, in our modern world, are finally ready to embrace? In today's world, Kundalini is making its way into mainstream spiritual practices. People are awakening it through yoga, meditation, and energy healing. But the question remains, are we ready for this power? Can we, as a society, handle the intensity of this ancient force? Or are we about to unleash something we don't fully understand? As we continue this journey, we'll explore why ancient civilizations chose to guard this sacred knowledge so fiercely. We'll look deeper into how they viewed Kundalini, how they controlled it, and why they thought it was too dangerous for the average person. In the next section, we'll dive into what happened when Kundalini was awakened without the proper preparation, and why those who sought this power often paid a high price. Now that we've begun to understand the power and mystery of Kundalini, it's time to explore why ancient texts treated it with such reverence and fear. Why did those who held the keys to this energy warn of its dangers? You see, Kundalini is not something that can simply be awakened at will, like a flick of a switch. It's an immense force of nature, a power so potent that it can alter the very fabric of your existence. And while it has the potential to elevate you to the heights of spiritual enlightenment, it can just as easily tear you apart if you're unprepared. So, what did the ancient teachings say about Kundalini's dangers? In ancient India, Kundalini was referred to as the sleeping serpent, coiled at the base of the spine. But why a serpent? The serpent, in many ancient cultures, symbolizes hidden power and transformation. In Hinduism, it's said that when this serpent awakens, it rises through the chakras, opening up higher centers of consciousness. But it doesn't rise smoothly. No, it's said to move with force, and as it travels up, it cleanses and purges any blocks within the body. This process is intense and not without its consequences. One of the biggest risks of awakening Kundalini too quickly is the possibility of an energy overload. Ancient texts like the Yoga Sutras warn of imbalanced energy, resulting in mental confusion, physical distress, and emotional chaos. When this powerful energy rushes through your system faster than your body and mind can handle, it can lead to psychological breakdowns and even physical illness. Some texts even describe Kundalini awakening as a psychic storm, overwhelming the individual with sensory overload. But the physical and psychological consequences are just the beginning. The spiritual dangers are equally, if not more, terrifying. Ancient teachings suggest that without proper guidance, a person can become unanchored, floating between realms, unable to return to the earthly reality. Kundalini's awakening can feel like being torn between two worlds, the world of the physical and the world of the spiritual. Some of the most respected yogis and gurus throughout history have claimed that they spent decades preparing their bodies and minds before attempting to awaken this energy. They practiced extensive purification rituals, focused on breathing techniques, and lived in isolation for long periods of time, meditating and disciplining their minds. Why? Because the ancient texts repeatedly warn that without spiritual readiness, the Kundalini experience can lead to mental collapse, physical harm, or even death. In fact, many of these ancient texts describe how Kundalini awakening can break open the doors of perception, allowing the practitioner to see beyond the physical world. While this can be a path to divine understanding, it can also expose the mind to what the ancient yogis called the lower realms, terrifying visions, hallucinations, and energies that are not of this world. They warn that if a person isn't prepared for these experiences, they could lose their grip on reality, becoming permanently trapped in a psychic dimension where darkness and chaos reign. Take, for example, the Tantras, sacred texts in Hinduism and Buddhism, which describe Kundalini as a fire that can purify but also destroy. When this fire ignites within the body, it can burn away the impurities of the soul, but if not controlled, it can consume the person entirely. In these teachings, the gurus and sadhus often emphasize that Kundalini awakening must be done with patience, awareness, and in the right environment. To awaken this energy too soon is to risk being consumed by the very fire that was supposed to purify you. The dangers are not just metaphysical, there are real physical consequences to an unbalanced Kundalini awakening. Disorientation, severe headaches, nausea, and even paralysis have been reported by those who push too hard or awaken the energy without the necessary precautions. The nervous system isn't just a conduit for energy, it's the system that keeps you alive and functioning in the material world. Disrupting it can lead to irreparable harm. And then there's the spiritual danger. The ancient teachings go beyond mere physical and mental consequences. They warn that awakening Kundalini too soon could tear apart your soul. This force isn't just a matter of awakened energy, it's a gateway to divine knowledge, a bridge between worlds. Opening it without the proper foundation can leave you spiritually vulnerable, unable to differentiate between the divine and the deceptive, between light and dark. The serpent that rises within could lead you to a higher state of awareness, or it could drag you down into the depths of spiritual chaos. The ancient sages and yogis were very clear. Kundalini is not for the unprepared. It wasn't just a tool for enlightenment, it was a responsibility. Awakening this force without being ready is like trying to harness the power of the sun with bare hands. You risk being burned. And while we may think of these warnings as outdated or overly cautious, they were based on centuries of spiritual practice and personal experiences. They weren't just theoretical, they were based on the lived realities of those who had gone before. People who had attempted to awaken Kundalini and had either succeeded, entering realms of higher understanding, or failed, their lives and minds shattered in the process. So what's the conclusion? Why has Kundalini been so hidden, so protected, and so carefully guarded throughout history? Why do ancient texts warn us about this power that seems so full of potential? Could it be that Kundalini is too dangerous to awaken without proper guidance? Or is it that the knowledge itself is too powerful? So powerful that it could change the course of human evolution forever? The truth is, Kundalini isn't just a tool for enlightenment. It is a force, as real and as dangerous as fire, capable of creating and destroying with equal intensity. Whether you choose to awaken it or not is a decision that should be made carefully, because once it's awakened, there's no going back. In ancient times, Kundalini was a force shrouded in mystery. It was hidden, guarded, and only passed down to a select few. But today, something is changing. Across the world, more and more people are awakening to the power of Kundalini through yoga, meditation, and spiritual practices. But why now? Why is an energy that was once kept secret suddenly coming to light? Is the world finally ready to understand and harness this ancient force? Or is there something we're overlooking? Something ancient civilizations knew that we've forgotten? The truth is, Kundalini has always been there, waiting to be discovered. For centuries, it was a mysterious energy, dormant within every person, just waiting for the right moment to awaken. But it was also dangerous. It was a power that could transform you, but also destroy you if you weren't prepared. Now it's coming back into the spotlight through spiritual practices, modern yoga, and even esoteric teachings. People are searching for something more. They're looking for a way to tap into their true potential, to awaken a deeper connection to the universe. Kundalini, they believe, is the key. But as we see this energy resurfacing, we also hear the same ancient warnings echoing from the past. The same warnings that kept this power hidden and only allowed it to be unlocked by those who are ready. The question now is, are we ready to handle Kundalini in the modern world? Are we truly prepared for such a powerful force, or are we opening a door to something we cannot fully understand? What happens when an energy like this is awakened without the right preparation, without the proper guidance? What could it mean for us as a society? Throughout history, Kundalini was considered something sacred, dangerous, and transformative. It wasn't just a mystical idea or a concept. It was power, real, tangible, and incredibly dangerous if not approached with the proper care. Ancient civilizations understood the risks of awakening such an immense energy. That's why they kept it under tight control. They reserved it for the spiritually ready, those who could handle its intensity without losing themselves. Yet today, Kundalini is becoming part of modern spirituality. It's being introduced through mainstream channels like yoga, meditation, and even spiritual retreats. People are awakening this ancient energy not through strict rituals or years of preparation, but through guided practices and self-exploration. The modern world is embracing it, but are we ready? In many ways, we are witnessing a global spiritual awakening, a new understanding of the power within us. People are starting to awaken to the fact that there's more to life, more to reality than they were ever taught. Kundalini is being presented as the key to unlocking this potential. But the truth is, awakening Kundalini is not without its risks. The question is, in a modern, fast-paced world where we're used to instant gratification, can we handle something so profound and powerful? The ancient texts and spiritual teachers were right to warn us. Kundalini is not just a personal journey. It's a cosmic force that doesn't just affect you as an individual. It shakes the very foundation of your being. It can shatter your reality if you're not prepared for it. The real question is, are we ready to awaken this power on a global scale? As spiritual awakening becomes more mainstream, more and more people are reaching for this ancient energy. We're tapping into something we don't fully understand, and while it offers incredible potential for growth, it also carries immense danger. Kundalini is not just about spiritual enlightenment or personal transformation. It's about energy, balance, and unleashing a force that can create or destroy. If we awaken Kundalini too quickly, if we don't prepare ourselves and those around us, we might risk tearing apart the very fabric of human consciousness. What if we're not ready to contain it? What if we're too shallow, too disconnected from the deeper wisdom of the ancient teachings? What happens when we, as a society, attempt to harness power that is older than civilization itself without truly understanding it? The ancient civilizations hid Kundalini for a reason. It wasn't just a secret kept for the sake of power. They understood that once this energy was unleashed, it would take more than just willpower to handle it. It would require profound discipline, understanding, and respect for the universe's natural forces. So as Kundalini rises in the modern world, we have to ask ourselves, are we embracing this energy in a way that will lead to true enlightenment, or are we playing with fire, opening doors we aren't prepared to close? Are we ready to handle Kundalini in the age of technology, social media, and instant gratification? What happens when ancient knowledge meets modern society? Are we using this ancient wisdom for growth and spiritual awakening? Or are we unleashing a power we can't contain? Can we handle the truth of Kundalini? Or is it a truth that is too great for us to truly understand? The world is awakening, but are we ready for what's coming next? So is Kundalini a gift, a curse, or something in between? We've explored its power, its potential for awakening, and its danger. We've learned that ancient civilizations didn't just view it as some mystical energy. They understood it as a force, one that could reshape reality itself. It could elevate a person to unimaginable heights of spiritual awareness, but it could just as easily plunge them into chaos, madness, or even destruction if mishandled. But the question remains, is it worth the risk? For centuries, Kundalini was hidden from the masses, treated as sacred knowledge that only the initiated few could access. It was guarded fiercely by priests, gurus, and spiritual leaders who knew the dangers of awakening such a powerful force. It wasn't that they feared the growth Kundalini could bring. No, they feared that humanity wasn't ready for it. They feared that if too many people accessed this ancient energy without the proper foundation, the world would collapse under its weight. Today, we stand at the precipice of a new spiritual age. Kundalini is no longer the secret it once was. It's entering the mainstream, brought to the forefront by modern yoga, meditation, and spiritual exploration. But the question is, are we truly ready? Can we, in today's world, manage such an ancient, primal force? Just think about it for a moment. Kundalini is not like any other spiritual practice. It's not just about, sitting in a circle, meditating, or chanting mantras. It's a force of nature, a cosmic energy that resides within all of us. The moment you awaken it, you're no longer just tapping into your own mind or body. You're opening the door to the universe itself, a universe full of mysteries, secrets, and unpredictable forces. What would happen if millions of people suddenly awoke Kundalini? What if everyone had access to this ancient power? Would we as a species use it to advance spiritually, to create a world of peace and harmony? Or would we fall into chaos, unable to understand the energy we'd unleashed? In ancient civilizations, those who were ready to awaken Kundalini did so with great care and discipline. They spent years, sometimes decades, preparing their bodies, minds, and spirits. They didn't just rush in, they understood the power of balance. Kundalini wasn't something you could control easily, and if you weren't prepared, it could overwhelm you. Psychological collapse, physical illness, and spiritual disorientation were just a few of the dangers. But in the modern world, we live in an age of instant gratification. We want things now. Awakening Kundalini is no longer reserved for the spiritually elite or the disciplined few. It's being practiced by millions. And yet, the warnings from the ancient texts still apply. Without proper guidance, without years of preparation, can we truly handle the awakening of such a force? Are we risking more than we can handle by embracing this ancient energy? So, is Kundalini a gift or is it a curse? The truth is, it's both. It's a gift because it offers the potential for spiritual enlightenment, deep self-awareness, and personal transformation. But it's a curse because, if awakened too quickly or without the right preparation, it can lead to destruction, chaos, and uncontrollable forces that no one is ready for. In the end, it's a choice. It's a choice each of us must make. Whether to dive into this mysterious world and risk everything for the chance to connect with something greater than ourselves, or to keep the serpent asleep and let it remain a dormant, unknown power inside us. Will you dare to awaken the sleeping serpent within, or will you let the knowledge of this ancient energy remain hidden as it was meant to be? The choice is yours. If you found yourself intrigued by the hidden secrets of Kundalini, leave a comment below. Have you felt the pull of this ancient energy in your life, or do you think it's too dangerous for the modern world? Let's talk about it.